Welcome to any that just popped in, and so glad you stayed. To those who were here for this last session, today is MedTech Innovation. We do this every month on the second Thursday of every month within our Venture Cafe Thursday gathering. We have just pivoted. Is today the first day or was last week? To the 10:30 time slot. So we find in New England, where we crave sunshine and salt water, that as soon as the sun starts to shine brighter and longer, we do better with our virtual programming earlier in the day. So we're going to keep to this earlier in the day virtual programming as part of our Venture Cafe Thursday gathering through August. But I have really exciting news. We, starting April 1st, that's a Thursday, no fooling, we are going to be back in person too. So we'll have in the morning will be the robust virtual programming as part of our Venture Cafe Thursday gathering. And then from 4 to 6, our beautiful district hall space, our lounge will be open at 4, the bar will be open, and we'll be open from 4 to 6 for networking. But from 5 to 6, we have a new series we're launching called The Future of. It's a discussion series. So local engaging conversationalists will be leading conversations on the future of. So the future of MedTech innovation, the future of pharma, Carol or Jay, the future of offshore wind, the future of work, the future of leadership, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So any of you here, Amy and Evelyn can drop our email addresses and our LinkedIn profiles, and we welcome you to do the same. But reach out to Amy or myself or Evelyn or Jordan or whoever on our team is here that you know, if you have ideas for that series and are comfortable being in person. I always say we have one of the safest buildings in Rhode Island. We follow tight protocols. We're in a CIC building, and they have done a fantastic job keeping us safe. So we'll still have restrictions, which are expanding. The capacity is expanding as of the end of the month, which we're excited about. We have been back open in our District Hall Providence space it's been over a month now. February 3rd, we intended to open Monday, February 1st, but we had a snowstorm. So we officially opened February 3rd on a Wednesday. And we continue to see an uptick in use of our space. So we have our free public lounge that if you're local, David, if your yacht takes you to Rhode Island, you're welcome to come on land and work out of our free public lounge or rent one of our meeting rooms or our event space. And we're seeing more and more people interested in that. We practice safety, so masks on when you're moving around. When you're sitting at your dedicated work area, you can take them off. But we're really excited to bring our Venture Cafe back in person, albeit just part of it, which I think is our new future anyway, right? So many people are going to want to stay virtual. So that conversation series will be recording, we'll be videoing, and so it will be a hybrid event, the discussion series. So the networking will be in person, and that the future of discussion series will be both in person and virtual. So this is Cultivating Innovation, Informal Conversations with Rhode Island's Economic Gardener. That's me. We love to just invite anyone from the community to engage with us in this half hour. Whether I call you out or it's in the chat, please feel free to share your URL, your LinkedIn profile, your email address, whatever, and ask what you're looking for so we can make sure to connect you. That's what we do, District Hall Venture Cafes, within our Innovation Studio parent nonprofit organization. We all connect anyone with an idea or a business to the resources they need to grow. And we love to hear what you need, and there are a bunch of us from our organization on here right now, and we love nothing more than to connect you with whatever it is you need to grow, whether it's one of our partner organizations, space, programming. Let us know what you need. Denise just posted something. And so, yeah, Amy, if you want to read that and respond, that would be awesome. I have some people I'm going to call out on here. Today is MedTech Innovation Thursday, so some of the people I'm going to be calling out are directly related to that space. Some are not, but they're ecosystem partners like Rebecca Weber of CIC Providence. And just like I was just talking about the uptick in our district hall space, because we're front of the house here at 225 Dyer in Providence. And Rebecca and her team manages a whole bunch of space in this building. And if you are looking for dedicated office space or a co-working membership, Rebecca's got you covered. So what's going on at CIC Providence this week, Rebecca?
Thanks so much, Tuni. We're so happy to have you and your team and the District Hall faithful back in the space because it's adding so much energy for us. And we hope that those ideas and those projects that are being worked on in the front of the house do translate to people who take up occupancy with us. We are experiencing a significant uptick in tours, in interest, and in people's overall willingness to come back to the proper office space. Which has been welcome for our team. Every Thursday, we do see anecdotally a large increase in our usual number of attendees because it is the day of our treat trolley, where our team visits each office full of clients and delivers a timely and seasonal themed treat, today being the Thursday closest to Pie Day. We are celebrating with pies today for our clients of different flavors, but it's more than the injection of sugar and the interaction that people appreciate. It's the opportunity for us to check in, see how we can engage, and see how we can connect our clients to the broader CIC network. And Amy, you're so on. I don't know what your pie preference is. I think we've got apple, pecan, lemon, blueberry. It might be the extent of it, but you make sure.
My kids, I'm going to be here.
Get it. Make sure the treat trolley comes your way. I'm going to alert the team to make sure that there's a stop just for you.
Awesome. I actually was pleasantly surprised. I'm mostly vegan, but the Cabot cheese you have in the bottom shelf of the fridge in our second floor cafe with an apple is like perfect with a nice cup of green tea on a Thursday. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus the hummus, that's been a big win recently. Individually packaged, we're working to do more with vendors and local suppliers, especially our friends at Hope in Maine. And we are eager to welcome more recognizable names into our space.
Oh, please share that with us. We'd love to promote more of our local businesses. That's awesome. Well, yeah, we're super excited to be back. As you can tell, Jordan, Amy, and I and Evelyn are all here in the space today. And we are doing tons of tours, as Rebecca said. So if any of you want a CIC tour or a District Hall tour, I know Jordan, every time he gives a District Hall Providence tour, he brings them right to Rebecca's office. And we also provide a CIC tour. So if any of you are interested, Jordan, or Evelyn, can you drop Jordan's email in here if you want to schedule a tour? We'd love to invite you in, physically distanced, of course, but it's a pretty fabulous space, and we're all enjoying being back. So next person I'm going to call out is, are you currently in CIC at 1 Broadway in Kendall Square, Shaheen, or are you working from home today?
I'm not. I'm missing out on the delicious Cabot and hummus that we have at CIC, but I will hope to get that next week.
Now, Shaheen is the director of our Venture Café Cambridge programming. So what's going on, and what we love, the silver lining of this new world we all live in, is we run right now, we're still all virtual, as I just announced recently. On April 1st, we'll also have an in-person component in Providence and hopefully soon in Cambridge as well. But we get to offer both our Providence and Cambridge programming in the virtual space because we're doing it earlier in the day. Shaheen and his team runs the Venture Cafe Cambridge programming, kicking off at what time today, and what are you talking about?
Definitely, thanks, Tuni. And yeah, today we love this model that Tuni has created down in Rhode Island on connecting and getting people to the right resources. We've brought it to Cambridge as well. So I host a similar session to this at 1:30 to 2. Today I'm going to be dropping the links to a lot of jobs that I'm finding throughout my LinkedIn network. So if anybody is looking for one or recommending a colleague somewhere, come by and see what we've got going on there. At 2 o'clock, we've got social media one-on-one with Bob Cargill. He'll be going over how to utilize your Facebook for best business practices. And then at 3 o'clock, we've got the product development process. So if you're trying to figure out how to bring someone to market, outlining your MVP, your target audience, David Orcazio will be going over that. And we'll cap it off with effective communication, surviving to thriving at 4 o'clock. So jam-packed evening for all you VenCaf people who come on here. We've got what you need.
And then Carrie, I'm going to call you out in a second, but that was a perfect segue to Jay Round. Is Jay on? I saw him before. Are you here, Jay? I can always pull Jay out later. From 6 to 7, we have another program happening. So I guess, Carrie, you are it. I'm going to call you out because I see you and your camera's on, and I'll call Jay out when he comes back. Okay. What is the Liyue House for those that don't know, and what do you have going on?
Great. Well, thank you so much. Well, the Liyue House is a historic house museum here in Providence, Rhode Island, and we offer a variety of programs and tours where we tell the history of the 1865 house and the stories of all the people who lived and worked there. And it's an opportunity to really kind of tell and explore the history of Providence in the 19th century and relate those stories and really kind of tell how that history relate to the Providence of today. And a big part of our mission as a nonprofit is to really encourage civic engagement in our local community. And one of the ways we do this is for this annual community conversation series that we have. And we've been doing this for a long time. We partner with the Providence League of Women Voters. And this is coming up next Monday. And the title for this year's series is Removing Barriers, Strengthening Democracy. And this year, we're really focusing on some of the barriers that youth and adult of color experience that keep them from really fully participating in our civic society. And the session that starts on Monday is going to be led actually by youth leaders of the Alliance of Rhode Island Southeast Asians for Education. That usually goes by ARISE. And those student youth leaders will talk with older civil rights leaders and kind of talk and compare about their work with leaders that have gone before them. And then the following Monday, these are sessions that will be led on Zoom on the next 2 Mondays. And then the following week, the session is going to be led by adult students of the Reentry Campus Program, which is an organization that focuses on adult education programs for formerly incarcerated individuals. And they will talk about some of the barriers that they've experienced coming back from to re-enter into society. And they'll be leading a discussion with Rhode Island Representative Scott Slater and the newly appointed Supreme Court Justice Melissa Long. And so I really hope that you will consider joining these programs. They're free, and I'll put a link in the chat to our website so you can pre-register and get the Zoom link. So that's just a kind of sample of the programs that we offer. And as y'all are discussing, as things kind of reopen, we are also going to transition our virtual programming into in-person programming. And so we'll be able to open up both our house and the grounds up to some socially distant and safe in-person programming later this summer too.
That is awesome. Fantastic news. And thank you for being on to share that program. This is
Tuni,
yes.
can I make a quick connection for Carrie?
Yes.
Carrie, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Project Entrepreneur and Larry Gennari at the BC Law School. If not, I'm dropping into the chat this program that he started 3 years ago, in which he takes returning citizens and puts them through a holistic entrepreneurial fundamentals workshop. And I'm sure there could be some synergies between Boston and Rhode Island. So I just wanted you to know about his program.
Great,
We'll let
thank
James
you.
know about that too. That's great. Fantastic. We're big proponents of that, and we do run programming throughout the year specifically around that. We include that. So that's good. I'll circle back with you, Shaheen, on that contact as well. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Carrie. Come back when you're in person. And this 11:30 to 12 session is meant for our community to come in and just let Amy or I know if you want me to call you out, and at the very least share in the chat anything anyone wants to share. So those of you who are still on and eager for our very exciting 12 to 1 program, MedTech Innovation Forum that Zymedica has been doing since 2014 internally, that we brought out to the bigger world last year in partnership with Zymedica and NEMIC. That is happening from 12 to 1. So I do hope any of you who are still on can stay for that. You can take your video off. Jessica Peach, who has been, she's one of the principal researchers at Zymedica. She's fantastic and engaging. And you are welcome to just listen and watch and eat your lunch. It's a great lunch hour once a month, every second Thursday from 12 to 1. But what do we have going on tonight, Carol, that we're premiering? Since Jay, I know he had a meeting with Brown, so he was iffy if he was going to be able to be on today to talk about tonight's new Rhode Island Bio program. Carol, by the way, is the executive director of Rhode Island Bio. And Jay Rounds, who we keep talking about, who had to pop off, obviously, is the entrepreneur in residence at Rhode Island Bio. And I have been connecting him, Shaheen, to a ton of people that I've met through Venture Cafe Cambridge. So the bridge that we've built between Cambridge and Boston and Rhode Island just continues to strengthen. And we as an organization love supporting, continuing to strengthen that bridge. So, so Carol, I've talked a lot, but.
Thank you, Tuni. We are so excited to be partnering with you on this new event that we have coming up. It's called the Rhode Island Clinician Entrepreneur Network. And it's from 6 to 7 tonight at the Venture Cafe. And it's a virtual event. And it's really talking about partnerships and how important partnerships are to our ecosystem. And it's a look at clinician and industry relationships. We have 2 physicians that are going to talk about their experiences as physicians and entrepreneurs. We have Eden Cardozo from Parity Health. She's the co-founder of Parity Health. And we have Jack Wards, who is a collaborator with Caragen. And it's a great opportunity for people who are physicians or clinicians who are thinking entrepreneurially and want to know how other people launch their companies. What did it take? What organizations did they work with? What hospitals are they affiliated with? So it's a really good opportunity to look at that hospital network, translational research that's coming out of our clinician networks, and new companies that are being founded and being launched as a result of these partnerships.
While I have you, do you want to talk about some upcoming Rhode Island Bio programs?
Sure. So we have a couple of things coming up. One is, we haven't announced this yet, so this is news for everyone. On March 30th, with the Venture Cafe, we're from 11 a.m. to noon, we're going to be presenting a COVID vaccine webinar. And this is really a state of the state look at the vaccine, where we are, how's it being administered. We are going to have different perspectives. We're going to have vaccine developers on the call, as well as people on the business side talking about distribution. We are working on getting a very special vaccine company, which soon to be named. I'm hoping they'll say yes and talk about one of the first vaccines that was developed. And we're also going to talk with someone on the Rhode Island Department of Health Vaccine Committee and why that committee was formed, what they're doing, what kind of decision-making process do they have, what kind of authority do they have. So it'll be a really great panel discussion on the 30th. And also on March 23rd, we have our Women in Science event with David Smith. And he's going to talk about how men can be great allies to women in the workplace. And that's, again, from 11 a.m. to noon. And you can register online for either one of those events.
And if you get a chance, Amy's already dropped the Women in Science Eventbrite, so you can pre-register for that. That way it's on your calendar. David also has a book, doesn't he?
He does. It's called The Good Guys, and he'll be talking about his book. A lot of his discussion, Patrice Milos, who is our board chair, is going to moderate this discussion. And she'll talk about her experience in the workplace as a leader, as a woman leader, and her experience with having men as allies. And he will talk about it from the male perspective and what it's like to be a male and to be an ally to women in the workplace. So it should be a great discussion.
Fantastic. I can't wait. I've been hearing Patrice talk about him for like 2 years now. So it's really exciting to finally have this program come to fruition. And I know she's going to be a dynamic moderator in that program. So
Absolutely.
Oh, great. So Good Guys, Better Allies, Workplace. So Amy has been dropping. There's all kinds of links and information in the chat. We only have 7 minutes, but I noticed Yulia popped in. So I'm going to first call on you, Amy, to talk about what we have coming up next week for Venture Cafe Thursday Gathering. And then I'm going to call on you, Yulia, to talk about what you have going on in Cambridge next week. You're muted, Amy.
Of course I am. And I've got my mask on because look, I am in District Hall. Next week is going to be a big week for us. We are actually going to kick off a little early. We're going to kick off at 9 a.m. and we'll have our learning session, our Venture Cafe Thursday Gathering Learn session be from 9 to 10:30 next week. So it's in partnership with the URI Coastal Resources Center. And the conversation will be focused on offshore, negotiating partnerships between communities in the offshore wind industry. So we'll be looking at communities around the world and how they developed offshore wind partnerships to bring clean energy to their communities. So mark your calendar for 9 to 10:30, a little bit early next week for that session. And I'll drop the Eventbrite link for that in the chat in a moment. And then from 11:30 to 12, we'll kick it off with Tuni again with Cultivating Innovation for Informal Conversations with Rhode Island's Economic Gardener. And then from 12 to 1, we actually have a really special series of events in partnership with the Clean Tech Open. Clean Tech Open Northeast is opening their Clean Tech Open Accelerator. And so they're sharing a lot of information about how you apply. We'll be talking to Rhode Islanders who have applied and successfully gone through the Clean Tech Open Accelerator, as well as to the support organizations that are located here in Rhode Island who can help you get there and be ready for that accelerator. So please join us next week from either 9 to 10:30, 11:30 to 1, or both sessions. And I'll drop both links in the chat in just a moment.
Fantastic. And Yulia, what do we have going in Cambridge next week?
Yeah, hi everyone. Well, next week we don't have anything big, but we are welcoming our new affinity group partner. It's ACE Next Gen, who focus on Asian and Pacific Islander founders, and we'll have our first session with them. We're really looking forward to it. What they are going to discuss is keeping momentum, generating positive press and opportunities during the pandemic times. To me, it sounds absolutely fascinating. We will continue with our marketing workshops. We have Bob Cargill, our long-term partner, and he's going to talk about Instagram, and he will be interviewing Ashley Mason from Dash of Social about using Instagram to boost your social media engagement. And our final session at 4 p.m. will be IT security for startups. We know that many times only IT security is mainly deemed for corporations that tend to gather a lot of data, but we know that startups, especially tech startups, also collect a lot of data. So I think that's going to be a great one as well. And we are going to host a 1:30 session just like this one, inspired by Rhode Island Economic Gardener. And I'll be leading that one next week. So please join me if you're available. Share anything you would like to share about your companies. And I will drop my email in the chat. So if you would like to reach out and tell me what you would like to share with the Cambridge community next week, I would absolutely love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yulia. That's fantastic. So we're 3 minutes away from welcoming Jessica Peach, the amazing Jessica Peach from Zymedica, as she'll tell us about the latest, greatest, coolest technologies, specifically MedTech technologies that are happening around the world. She finds them in the most unique, it might be somewhere obvious and it might be somewhere very not obvious. And she's always engaging and the information is so cool. And anyone I know who's watched it either live or post-event, because we record, edit, and post to our YouTube channel all of our programs. So I highly recommend, they're very binge-worthy. If you're a nerd like me and you have a specific track you're interested in, we have lots of playlists. We have so many that we're in the process right now of cleaning them up and making them, some we're joining together and we're freshening our YouTube channel up. So I know Evelyn will drop our a link to our YouTube channel here. This even has a playlist, this Cultivating Innovation, Informal Conversations with Rhode Island's Economic Gardener. We have MedTech Forum on there and many, many others. So thank you all for showing up for this half hour. We hope you'll join us for 12 to 1. We hope you'll pop over to our Venture Cafe Cambridge at 1:30. And we have a lot of cool conversations, presentations, and workshops. So if you have any ideas on what you'd like us to offer, please share with any of us on the Providence or Cambridge team. We love to hear from our communities. And it's been a real pleasure. Every week we're seeing more and more from outside of our communities, and you are now part of our communities, Cervantes and David. So we're so glad you found us, and anyone else who hasn't spoken up that found us on Eventbrite or LinkedIn or from some other place, we'd love to hear. So feel free to drop in the chat or shoot us an email if any of you besides David and Cervantes haven't shared where you found us and this is your first time. But we're super excited to have you two show up for the first time and look forward to seeing your smiling faces and exciting ideas in the future.
Can we take 2 seconds to ask Danielle about the hackathon this weekend, just to make sure that we
can take 2 minutes because we technically won't kick off the next session until probably 12:03, 12:05. So take it away, Danielle, and talk about more than just that. Remind everybody about Magpie X too.
Yes, awesome. So first, tomorrow we are kicking off our first weekend of the COVID-19 Response Innovation Hackathon. And the purpose of this is to bring together Rhode Island's innovation, design, engineering, really anyone in the community that wants to come together to improve anything that's been affected by this COVID-19 pandemic and future pandemics. We're looking to create new solutions, new ideas, new technologies that will address those problems. And some of the things that we're focusing on is social isolation that has happened to all of us and our communities and patients. We're looking to create new solutions, technologies around awareness and communication, how that's changed due to the pandemic. How can we help people work remotely better? The impact on education and educating our youth due to this pandemic, and the support of at-risk individuals. So not only is NEMIC focused on healthcare, this hackathon is really open past healthcare and all the problems that has happened to our daily lives. I will drop a link in the chat to look at that. Unfortunately, this hackathon is only open to Rhode Island residents, students of Rhode Island universities, and employees of Rhode Island employers. So if you are employed by a Rhode Island employer, but you work outside the state, you can still participate. You will be matched through the hackathon with local designers who will help you quickly ideate your ideas and get them ready for a presentation on this Sunday, where you can win up to $1,000 for first place. If you can't join us this weekend, we're running the same hackathon in April, so you'll be able to see that as well. And you can do both, so you can win up to $2,000 if you do both and really work on your technology. And after we're probably going to see so many great ideas. We're looking to partner with these teams and ideas past the hackathon to really bring these to fruition in the state of Rhode Island. So we're really, really excited to do that. Another announcement is last month on Venture Café, we announced our partnership with the Magpie X MedTech Accelerator, and this is Southern New England's newest MedTech accelerator and investment fund. That is seeking post-ideation stage medtech ventures with technologies in the med device sector, diagnostic and imaging, digital health, digital therapeutics, wearable devices, healthcare monitoring, healthcare ITO, smart devices, drug delivery, and types of supporting technologies in that space. You can apply to Magpie X and you will receive about $100,000 in investment of cash and in-kind services. You'll be able to work with NEMIC and our whole community and the clinicians who founded the fund and get mentoring through them and really go through an accelerator program to push the technology forward. So we're really excited to be able to introduce this fund to the pretty much world. We're looking for technologies from all over. You do not have to be a Rhode Island. You don't have to be in Southern New England. You can be from anywhere to apply. So if you know of anyone looking for investment and support to get their technology to market, please check out Magpie X, and I will drop that link as well. So thank you.